So I decided to come out to my dad's property to check on what kind of wild things he might have growing out here. And I was looking up goldenrod. And this here, my friends, is goldenrod. So it grows in Kansas. It's a lot of times like a weed. You see it in fields and along the highway and the roads. I was starting to see it along some of the roads where I live, and I thought, I wonder if my dad has any growing out in his property. And sure enough, he does. So he owns some land. Well, it used to be about 50 acres. It's less than that now because the state took some of it for right-of-way for roads and stuff. But as you can tell, it's kind of a wild jungle. Lots of trees, lots of stuff, and yeah, he keeps like a little area of it mowed off, but a lot of it is just wild. Anyway, so I'm excited about goldenrod. So I'm going to collect this. There's some here, and then some back in there. I'm gonna leave the roots. They say to do that. And plus I see another little one that's trying to grow right in there. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm just gonna kind of cut off some of the top parts of it and not take all of the whole entire stalk, of course. But I think it's gonna be easy to find around Kansas because I was noticing that there's some out in the ditch on his property, and I betcha if I went looking off in the woods, there probably would be more. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna harvest this. So I was not prepared for any of this today. So I don't have my mic, I don't have my stand, like my, not stand, but my little tripod that I generally hold. But I had a pair of scissors in my trunk, yay me, and then I found that piece of plastic and I thought, well, perfect. That's really all I need is just some scissors and plastic just to lay this on. So, all right, so I'm gonna go in here, and of course I can't really, so I'm just gonna cut, I think, down here. See if my scissors will cut through it even. It's questionable. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so you know this isn't. There we go. Okay. So there is the goldenrod, and it's really pretty too. So there we go. There is that snip of goldenrod. And I want to get, there's another bigger piece over here. I want to grab that one for sure. And let's see here. I think I do. Well, it doesn't have much flowering on it, but I think I will go ahead and grab it. So here we go. Put you in the other hand. Sorry, you guys. Again, this is me going on a wild goose chase that I wasn't really prepared for none of the above. There, okay. Got another piece of it, and I think I'm gonna leave the other two. So there's a little piece back in there, and I'm gonna leave because I don't want to take all of it because I want it to come back and grow. So I'm just gonna grab those for now, and then I'm gonna drive on down and see if there's anywhere else. So here we go. So I came on down to the pond. Look at these beautiful sunflowers. They're a wild sunflower variety, but let's just go enjoy the beauty of nature. I love sunflowers. I think I might try growing some at my house next year. They're a wild variety, but aren't they beautiful? They're just so pretty. But I didn't stop here because of that. I stopped here because we're gonna walk over here, but I found the mother lode. There's definitely goldenrod on Dad's property. I knew there would be. There's some back in here. That is goldenrod. Then there's a whole bunch right up here by the area that is mowed, where I don't have to crawl off in the weeds. And I just looked up because I wanted to find out for sure, but you can do the leaves and the flowers. So I'm going to dehydrate said leaves and flowers, and I mean, you can use the stems too, but it's not really. Look, there it is. There's all the goldenrod. So this is cool. Stephanie, if you're watching this, I wish you were with me, but I don't know what you're doing. I never know what you're doing, so that's my niece. But I know she's wanting to kind of get into herbalism, and I kind of have too for a long time. And so here I am, just jumping in full force. But so here's some more of the goldenrod. So I'm definitely going to harvest a bunch of this. I don't think I'm going to hold the camera while I'm doing it. So I really didn't know how much to grab. So I just added that much more to it. It seems like a decent amount, but I know whenever it dries, that it dries down to not much. So let me see. There was some right up in here that was easy to grab. So I think maybe I will go ahead and grab this one right here. It's got a bunch of leaves. So I don't know, because I'm going to try to just take the leaves off and then the flowers. So that's how much I got. And I know there's more. Like, there's lots of yellow stuff around the pond, which I think could be just like little sunflowers. Or like little, whatever these are. I don't know what those are. I need to see if I can get my little plant identifying app out and figure out what kind of little, but those are growing around a lot. There's some kind of a daisy-like bunch. Here's another, or that's the bunch that I harvested from. There's some more down here. So I definitely have more to come get if I decide that this is not enough. Here's a whole bunch of dried up sunflowers. See if we can spread the seeds down so there will be more. That's the fun part about it. Let's see. Yeah, see, here's some more down in here. Not sure what those are. They've got purple flowers on them. So I'm gonna have to check that out. But here's another batch of it. So I think that's all I'm gonna take today. I see a redbird. I don't know if you see him. I think it's a redbird. It's some kind of a bird, and I think it's red anyway. Maybe it's just a leaf or something. It's not moving, so it might be just a leaf in there. Okay. I know right over here is a polk plant, but I don't really think there's a lot you can do with them. I think they're kind of somewhat poisonous. Let's just go on down closer to the pond. I'm like totally not in. I have on flip-flops and jeans and a nice t-shirt because I just got home from church. And I didn't think I was even going to be able to do this because it started raining. So, yeah, you have this little area in here, which is kind of an overflow whenever the pond gets really full. But it is really, really, oh, I see they made a path over here. I say normally they had a path across, but I see that they're not using that path no more. And they have cut a path over here. Anyway, it's nice that the guys come down and keep an area at least somewhat mowed. There was some kind of a critter. But yeah, so whatever those are, we got lots of those around the property. Hedge apples. I need to see if this is some kind of, I want to see what kind of a plant this is. So I'm going to pause the video for a second and go to my Seek app and see if I can find out what this is. So the Seek app said that was tall thistle. I don't know anything about tall thistle, but I may have to go home and do, oh, here's some more goldenrod right here by the pond. Easy to grab. Should I grab it? Because it is so, oh my, the pond is really down. Wow. This spring, it was all the way up, and that chair, someone had put it down there, and it was completely like almost covered. The pond was way up, but it is really down. I haven't been out here in a long time, apparently. So, okay. I think I am going to go ahead and grab this, though. So we had a lot of rain this spring, and then it just kind of died off this summer. And we haven't had much, as you can tell. But now would be a good time for them to go in there and spray it. He sprayed out a lot of this right in here where you can see it's dead. But now would be a time to get in and spray out some of that other stuff to keep the weeds down. Okay, so I'm probably not going to be able to do this and harvest this little bit while videoing, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here. Okay, I just grabbed some more. I didn't take it all. Again, I left some, but now that I know that there's plenty out here, I even see some more up here. There's a little patch over there. But now when you know what you're looking for, you're like, oh, okay. There is a lot of it out here. So, let's see, here's a whole nother little patch of it up here. So I think, like I said, I think I will just stop. Oh, the wasp he's enjoying that one. So I'll leave that for him. But there's, as you can see, there's kind of a whole bunch along in here. So definitely if I want to come get some more, we'll see how much this dehydrates down to, but because I know it won't be much in the end. But if I could get enough to fill a jar, that'll be kind of my goal. So we'll see how it does. Because I'm just going to basically get the leaves and the flowers and not really take anything else. So anyway, so it is literally, it's like the 21st? I don't know. It's in the 20s. I think it's the 21st. It might be the 22nd of September. Can't remember. I kind of lose track of days sometimes, especially on the weekend. It's a Sunday. I do know that. And all right, this brush pile, we're gonna have to have a big fire this fall because that brush pile has grown tremendously. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you kind of enjoyed this impromptu little nature walk video. Didn't really, like I said, intend to do this. Wasn't prepared. Didn't bring, luckily I had scissors in my car. I did know that. And that piece of plastic. So I was only somewhat prepared for foraging, but it worked. At least the scissors cut the stems. So, all right, I'm gonna just add this to the pile and then you can see the pile that I collected. So not a huge amount, but definitely a nice little pile. So, all right, guys, I think I'm just gonna put the scissors down. Maybe I'll put them in there so they won't slide around so much in the car. Oh, I do have tennis shoes in here I could have put on. I try to keep tennis shoes in here just for things like this because I never know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu foraging video, learning about goldenrod. So what I'm going to do is go home, and I probably will show you guys the dehydration process. Like, I mean, not the whole process, because it'll take like hours/days to dehydrate it. But I'll show you like what I do to get ready, and then we'll look it up in the book and then kind of see what some of the medicinal properties were. But I know when I was looking at it that it had some good health benefits. So I was like, I'm going to go see if we have that around here. So that being said, let's go home and get the goldenrod ready for drying. All right, so guys, I am back home, and I think what I'm going to do is maybe cut these down into smaller pieces so that I can fit them in my sink, because we want to soak them and get any buggies or spiders off, because I'm sure that we're going to have some of that. So if they're bigger pieces, I think that's what I'm going to do, is just cut some into smaller pieces. And then it'll make it a little bit easier. So these are definitely bigger. Then once I get them washed, these are kind of smaller pieces. Oh, there went a bug. Got a moth or something in here now. And I really don't want Zoe girl coming over here and chewing on these. I'm going to try to get this done. It's got like spider web or something in it, so I'm just going to cut it off. And there's another spider. 2 spiders. Not surprised. They're like, why did you bring us home? Please send us back. Zoe, you're right over here doing just what I didn't really want you to do. I'm getting close, so maybe I can get all these in. Okay. Yeah, no, dot. Yeah, really, no, I really don't want you to. Okay. So, why don't we get up off the plastic? Perfect. She likes to eat plants. And I'm going to go dump this outside. Hi. 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 All right. So normally I put a lot of my herbs and stuff in a salad spinner. Yeah, I do. But she's going to lay down on this towel. Why don't you go on, Zoe? Yeah, I know. You don't want to go. I'm sorry. Here, hop down. Sorry. She's not real happy with me. She wants to be up here where I am doing all the things. But I don't want her up here. I mean, not that it probably, I just don't want her chewing on the herbs or the plant when I get it out here. So normally, like I said, I put it in my salad spinner, but I think because I don't know how delicate the flowers are on that. I don't want to mess the flowers up and lose them. So I think what I'm going to do is just lay them out on these tea towels, and then I'll just kind of pat them dry. And then once they are somewhat dry, then I will put them in my dehydrator right here. So I think what I will do is kind of just take a little bit at a time, rinse it. And this is going to be a process, you guys. I think we'll just take like a little batch at a time, because what I really want to do, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of pull them apart, because I think whenever they get done dehydrating, that it'll be easier to pull off the leaves and stuff. And these smaller ones up here where the flowers are, they'll probably come off the stems a little easier. Okay, I had noticed that my camera had moved, so I had to stop and adjust, and I think I gotten everything tightened up to maybe where it won't move. So I'm not sure where I last left off at, but this is all of it. I've decided to, if the leaves look good, I'll take them. If they don't, then I'm not really. There's a few that like are buggy. I might go ahead and just pluck them off. Some of the stalks looked a little better than others. And I've just been going through here and doing this. And like all those look pretty good. So I found out that if I go down the stem, that will pretty much and a lot of these are kind of got bug holes. Okay. So I've got just a little pile of stuff, which is to be expected. Usually things don't end up being as big as when you pick them, but this will still be a decent amount, I think, to start. Of course, the leaves are going to stick to the tea towel. The leaves have kind of got little some things that help them stick a little bit. Okay, good enough. Okay, so I pulled out kind of every other tray till I see what this looks like. Sometimes on my herbs, when they get real big and fluffy, they take up little space, but I think I can probably spread these out a little bit more. Okay, so I put 5 trays worth of goldenrod into my dehydrator. So I've got mostly the flowers, a little bit of leaves, and so I'm dehydrating it on the lowest temperature that my dehydrator will do, which is 85 degrees. Usually with any kind of herbs and stuff, at least do 95 degrees if you're going to dehydrate, but the lowest temperature is the better. And you could also, if you had a freeze dryer, which I would love to have one, you could freeze dry the herbs, which would be another great way to preserve them. Or you could just dry them in, like, you could hang them upside down, which would do well. They also have like drying baskets that I've seen on Amazon for really cheap that you could hang up, and could do that as well. And I thought about doing that. I don't have one of the hanging baskets, but I thought about maybe investing in one and doing that. But I don't really have they say to hang it like in a cool, dark place, and I don't really have a good place like that to hang it. I mean, I probably could in a closet, but I think it would just be a little big for my closet. So anyway, so what I'm doing is choosing to dehydrate because I do have my dehydrator already. I purchased it a year ago. So, and I have done a lot of dehydrated stuff. That's how I've been doing some of my culinary herbs that I've been cooking with this year, and apples. I've done fruit. I've done some dehydrated squash, all kinds of stuff. So, and cherry tomatoes. So, here's just a sampling of some of my dehydrated stuff. So cherry tomatoes are great dehydrated. I sprinkle a little bit of salt on them and then some Italian seasonings, and they taste like pizza. It is delicious. And then here's a little bit of squash that I marinated in balsamic. And then I have some apples here as well. And these are delicious. Apples are so delicious in the dehydrator. One other thing that I've done, I'm saving this for my sister, but I will dehydrate my tomato skins and then put them in my blender and create tomato powder, which you could use this to make like tomato paste if you were in a pinch. Just add a little bit of water to it, or you could even like put this in like soups and stuff to kind of give it a little bit of tomato flavor. So I have a whole big jar, and now I'm working on my sister a little jar. Okay, so I think that what I'm going to do is go take all of this outside and try to shake it and get it dry, or not dry, but get it cleaned off. And then I will come back and we're going to talk about goldenrod for a little bit and some of the medicinal properties and stuff like that. And we'll kind of look at some of my books. I brought them in here. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I think you guys can see and hear me all right. So we're going to dive into the books a little bit and look up goldenrod. So I got a brand new book. It is the Complete German Commission e-monographs. And so the German government, basically, they put together a group to go over and study over 300 herbs and stuff that's sold in Germany. And so it gives a lot of dosages and a lot of the like herbalists and stuff from America, North America, they will definitely use this to reference a lot. So anyway, so I really kind of wanted to add it into my books of stuff. So goldenrod, I've got to just look this up. And this book you can't really find. I had to buy it used. It's very hard to find. It's like really, really expensive if it's new. And I kept looking, and I finally found one used that was still pretty expensive for a book, but it was a lot more affordable. So let's see, we're looking up goldenrod. So 139 to 140, and then there is 259. So let's look up while I'm here to 259, let's just look up. Okay, that is a combination. Okay, so I don't want that. So we're going to do 139 to 140. I should have marked these off. I should have looked them up. But this is me doing it in the raw state. So, okay. So goldenrod so there's some like scientific names about goldenrod, and it's like solidago, and I'm probably going to screw these up, so do not come at me. But so this book, so the German E-Commission book says it is used a lot for like lower urinary tracts, like inflammatory items from that, and then kidney stones, urinary stones, and then it can also just be used as like prophylaxis to help with a lot of urinary complaints. And it talks about the daily dosage, 6 to 12 grams of the herb, and you can do teas and other internal uses. And let's see, it's a diuretic, so it is mildly antispasmodic, and it is antiphlogistic. I need to look up that word. I looked up another word already that I wasn't familiar with. So this is goldenrod, and this is what the looking to see they use. Okay, so it contains flavonoids, saponins, and phenoglycosides. Okay, so that's what the German Commission ebooks has to say. So I kind of like to look in there. And then let's look in the Herbal Medicine Encyclopedia. This one's kind of fun because it has pictures and it tells you like what parts is used and stuff like that. So let's go to goldenrod. And sometimes you have to look up the scientific name. La la la, goldenrod. So 280 to 281. Okay. So back here in the back, there it is. Okay, and there's a picture of it right there. So there's the goldenrod picture in the encyclopedia book. So it's part of the Asteraceae family. So if you have an allergy to that, then you may have an allergy to goldenrod. So a lot of ailments for the urinary tract. So medicinal uses, it's antioxidant, diuretic, and astringent. Goldenrod is a valuable remedy for urinary tract disorders. It's used for both serious ailments such as nephritis and more common problems like cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder, and nephritis is inflammation of the kidney. The herb also has a reputation for helping to flush out kidney and bladder stones, and the saponins in it act specifically against candida fungus. So that's interesting. So it would help with either vaginal or oral thrush. So that is interesting for sure too. The herb can be taken for conditions such as sore throats, chronic nasal catarrh, and I had to look that up because I did not know how to say it. Is Catarrh, but it is catarrh, I believe, and it has to do with nasal drainage. I was not familiar with that word, but yeah, it's like mucus and stuff like that. So it helps with that. So it's like Mucinex. It is the herbal equivalent of Mucinex, sounds like, and it can also help with diarrhea. Okay, so it's a mild action, and goldenrod is used to treat gastroenteritis in children, which is just like upset stomach, like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Externally, it may be used as a mouthwash or a douche for thrush. Okay, interesting. So it says self-help uses allergic rhinitis with the mucus and the gunk, and then urinary infections. So that's what the encyclopedia has to say. And then let's look up in the medical herbalism book by David Hoffman. And I think I looked this one up just a minute ago. And I think I have to look it up under the scientific name, but let me double check. Okay, so goldenrod, here we go. So you use the dried aerial parts, which is what I've got. It is, which I already talked about, the anti-catarrhal, which is the mucus and stuff. It helps with that. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, astringent, diaphoretic, carminative, and I looked up that word finally, and that is has to do with like stomach upset, like gas. It helps with the tummy, and then diuretic. So indications: goldenrod is perhaps the first plant to consider for upper respiratory mucus and stuff. So whether acute or chronic. The plant may also be used in combinations with other herbs to help treat the influenza. Its carminative properties point to a role in the treatment of flatulent dyspepsia. So if you have a lot of upset stomach and tummy gas, that can help with that. And anti-inflammatory, urinary tract, antiseptic, goldenrod can be helpful in cystitis, urethritis, and similar conditions affecting the urinary system. So it sounds like its two big main things are with like cough and mucus, and then urinary tract stuff. So that's really interesting. So if you have any allergies to plants in the Asteraceae family, then you may have allergies to this. So that is kind of the safety considerations to consider. And then it talks about you can make a tincture and take that up to 3 times a day, or you can do an herbal tea, and it should be drunk 3 times a day, it says. So anyway, I could just sit here and look through these books forever, but I know you guys don't want to do that. And then another thing that I recently purchased, which I didn't have with me today to help me identify, so I just had to use my phone, which in all honesty is probably a little faster, but I purchased the field guide, the Peterson Field Guide to Medicinal Plants and Herbs. And what's really cool about it is, so it breaks it down like along the bottom here. I don't know if you guys can see how some are green, some are kind of purple, pink to red, and then you have like yellow. So you can helps you identify the plant with the color. But anyway, if you guys are wanting to get into like foraging, like wild herbs and stuff like that, this book would be very, very helpful. So I just wanted to mention that. So okay, guys. Well, this is definitely a journey that we are working on, I guess, together, because I'm taking you with me. So I've got so much to learn, so much to study and learn about herbs for sure. I'm just brand new to this. So, but self-study is one of the greatest ways to learn, and definitely, following trusted people on YouTube as well and learning from them. Maybe someday I'll be able to take one of the courses that they have online and help me really get into herbalism even more. But for now, it's just kind of a fun little hobby to kind of, honestly, it's kind of like taking my mind away from what's going on in the world. Let's be honest. So there's a lot out there, and just sometimes, like, I mean, I like to have the books, because sometimes just sitting down with the books, it's like I'm not on my phone, and I am not getting distracted by the phone or anything like that, and I can just kind of focus in on learning and reading from actual physical material. And it's just kind of a way that I have been decompressing, and I mean, the garden this year has been really helpful in that. Like, I just enjoy going out and walking through my garden and checking on the stuff. Watering is even relaxing to me. And I mean, sometimes the watering can be a little bit annoying, especially if it's hot and like I feel like I'm running out of time. Like I'm like, I gotta go water. But mostly I enjoy the watering, um, and I hand water my garden with a hose. I could set it up on a sprinkler, but I just like the way hand watering is better because it's more hands-on. I can see what's going on with my plants, and my garden is not so huge that I can't do that. And so hand watering is definitely what I prefer to do. But yeah, I've just really enjoyed kind of gardening this year and getting into plants and stuff like that. I never thought that I would necessarily be a gardener, but here I am. I'm learning. So and I'm having tomatoes still just coming in like crazy. So anyway, I kind of digress a little bit, but yeah. So I would just say herbalism is just kind of it's a little side adventure. I've had an interest in it for a while, and that's why I've been kind of growing a few herbs at home this year, trying some, and I want to kind of get more and more into it and try to figure out what I'm going to grow next year. I could potentially have all of my green stalks, my 3 green stalks, and just use all of them for herbs. And I may do that, especially one year if I'm really trying to grow certain stuff. Um, so we'll kind of see what happens next year with the garden. But I am glad that the garden season is kind of winding down, and then I can kind of delve into other adventures. Like this fall and this winter will be great because I can learn more about herbs and like what I want to try to grow and stuff like that. So anyway, well, this is getting way too long, I'm sure, so I will wrap this up. But I just wanted to come on here, kind of show you this fun little extra video that I wasn't planning on doing, and going foraging with me for goldenrod. So all right, guys, so I just want to remind you to don't be afraid to just stop and slow down and then just enjoy the little moments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.